Are you saying or 4? I feel like this countdown got stuck.
I said or.
Or
You guys know I'm recording, right?
No.
yes.
I did not know. Yeah, well, sorry guys for the cool show.
Chapter 6, Jay.
Or
That's gonna be the beginning of the video.
Well, Alexis, please don't.
Oh, why?
Don't do it.
Oh, yes, very serious. So, any closing thoughts?
or please don't keep any of us 5 minutes.
Okay, Wheel of Time, the end of the road, chapter 6,
last
the
time
Westwood.
we're getting attacked by Narg. Narg smart. And
Narc smart.
and then he's on his way back in town when Tam is gone down with the fever. He sees things.
Yeah, Tam got pretty fucked up by his little cut, and he was like all hallucinating and stuff, just like dying on the side of a tree.
Winter nights. I'm trying to. I don't think the part. There was a part where he says you keep going back to town and he's endless and shit. And this is like the most dramatic.
That's pretty much. That's pretty much all of chapter 6 was him walking through the forest and then like stopping when he seen the rider with all the Trollocs, and then he was like, "Man, I'm really fucking hungry. I didn't eat anything at all." And then he went like numb again and then kept walking, and then the rider came back and he's like, "Man, I'm in fucking pain right now."
Well, he
And then every
did
time-
fucking work a full day too.
Yeah, like
yeah,
he
and then
worked.
Tam's like
Yeah.
fucking spewing tinfoil hat theories out of his mouth while he's trying to like hide from the Trollocs.
Oh yeah, because I think Tam has come from outside. Yeah, I think we get a little bit inside of Tam, right? I think he's outside of the 2 rivers
And is he the father?
of Rand. Yeah.
You are not the father.
Is
Wait,
he
he's not
though?
the father. He's not the father. He literally found some lady that like gave birth on the battlefield or something, and then wrapped her baby up in a cloth, and then he just found him in the middle of nowhere and was just like, "This is ours now."
I mean, you pick up a baby. Like, are there just like random like baby drop-offs in fucking this world? I don't think so. So it's like you find a kid. It's just like you either leave it there or you're like, it's ours now.
It's like those, yeah, it's like those people that like put kittens in a box and just leave them on the side of the street. Like that's pretty much what happened with fucking Rand. And Tam's like, "All right, this is ours now." Just imagine you're Rand. You just got attacked by Trollocs. Your father is dying, and then he just, while he's all
You've
crazy
been
and lucid, he just
dragging
drops the. He's adopted. He's not even my son.
It's just
Rand's
like,
like, what?
Wait, what?
fuck you! I'm leaving you here, you bitch. Now. I feel like that's such a.
back into, he's my dad. He's my dad.
I mean, let's be real. If you were pretty much raised by your dad like your entire life, almost like it's all you've known. This is a small town, right? I mean, it's when you're kind of like surrounded by the only things you've ever known your whole life. Like something like that is probably like a very serious disruption, and of course you're going to go into denial first because that's what everyone does. Denial.
That's what Driz did.
Yup.
Prince.
And
Drags his pretend father all the way back to town,
And it's
finds
not
out the
even
town
like-
got-
yeah, it's not even like he was ready for that. Like he'd worked a full day's work, he'd come back home, they got attacked, he made a makeshift thing, and he's been dragging him all night. So he's basically probably been awake for over 24 hours, and he's exhausted. And then boom, truth bomb.
We're
Oh, okay,
adopted.
sweet. Let's just talk
Something
about my
about the world
newfound
tree.
trauma now.
Oh yeah. Remember, he brings
And
up
the
the
sapling.
sapling. The sapling's like that. There's some backstory right there. Remember, and it talks about the.
Avendasora.
They never want to make peace, and then they give us this thing and say they want to make peace, and then I adopted this kid.
Well, I'm looking at going forward because there's not really too much in chapter 6, like 4 pages.
And the blood. Oh, the blood.
Oh my god, and the smell.
Yeah, pretty.
The smell and the blood and adoption.
And, wait, I'm adopted?
Chapter 6 in a nutshell.
Yeah, alright. That's good summary.
Yeah.
Man, man's got a fucking willpower to be still carrying that
Dude,
cart.
that guy's got the worst luck ever. And then he sees the smoke and he's just like, oh yes, the town. We are saved. And he's
then
like, wait,
he's
that's
like,
too much
That's
smoke.
a little too much smoke.
Shit. The town got fucked, and then he looks and like half the town's burned down, and like people are like digging through the wreckage and dragging bodies around and stuff.
Yeah, like that he's like, my hope turned to despair. And I was like,
And
oh,
then he just
no.
and then he just walks into the blacksmith and he's just like, Trollocs boy, yeah, here too.
Wait,
and it's
no,
like,
wait.
what?
You can't say it until you get. That's this next chapter.
Well,
Yeah, chapter
we're
7.
we're on chapter 7. That's where we are.
What? We
We
just
moved
skipped
already.
chapter. No, okay. Well, I guess you guys.
Why, what else happened?
Nothing. I was just saying. I was.
Tell us,
before
Jade,
chapter 7.
speak.
Yeah, chapter 7.
Out
I
of
was
the
gonna-
woods.
Yeah, I was gonna go more onto the woods shit.
Okay. Go into the woodsy shit.
Okay, we're on the out of the woods now. Yeah, to the blacksmith shit. And then he wants to go to. He wants to see the Egwene, right? That's like the thing to see because he wants to see the fever dream on. See if she can fix the fever dream of.
He
I don't
wants
know
to
if
see-
I was the only one that read it, but when he got to town and after he talked to the blacksmith and Egwene like showed up, he was checking her out. It was really fucking weird, like of everything that was going on. It made a very,
Well,
very
well,
obvious
no.
point to like
You
her
know when you
slim
get
figure or something.
So
Yeah.
tired that you don't have a filter anymore? I feel like that's where he was at by that point. He's like, I just
He was
fucking
just
worked
like-
the whole day and I walked through the whole night carrying this heavy
She's
ass
got
cart and I found out I was
bandages.
adopted.
Her hands are clean. She looking fine.
No!
Where did it say that? How did you pick up?
Obviously, I paraphrase, but it made a very specific point to point out her slim or slender figure or something. There was there was one line after he noticed that she had clean hands that he immediately just looked her up and down pretty much while dragging his dying father in the middle of a burned down village after a Trolloc attack. It was just really weird.
Well, I will say this, that whenever something really serious has happened and you're exhausted, I will say that you do notice weird things. It's like you have to focus on something, and you focus on the thing right in front of you. And a lot of times, I remember,
Oh yeah, he did.
I remember being in the hospital after my youngest brother was born, and it was 5 in the morning, and I'd been with my mom all night, and I'd just been staring at the floor, and I just noticed little nicks and stuff, and I noticed how I just noticed weird things that when you're so tired but you're trying to stay awake, it's just I noticed that there's grooves in the floor where people would push stretchers and just weird shit. I saw this nurse and I noticed that one of her braids was shorter than the other.
Sounds like you were super high.
I was 12, okay? There's no way.
Floor, man. They had stretchers.
Yeah, I was 12, okay? What the hell did you think I was doing? And then just
Oh.
yeah. It was weird. So-
right now.
But yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah,
was just I just relate to that because I notice when I'm really tired or really stressed, I noticed just I fixate on really little details because I'm exhausted.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Basically, follows Egwene back to the wisdom, and
Wait,
wisdom looks at him and is
I think they bring points, or does he not say until he meets the mayor, the parts that got attacked, the aftermath of the Trolloc invasion.
But
Well,
he
he
does
makes a
notice some houses that aren't.
some houses are
Not
perfectly fine, and some of them are completely decimated, and you have rows of houses untouched, and
They're
one
not-
where there's only one house standing.
A lot of the houses are just torched, and then a lot of people are still fine. And
yeah, it seems sort of random as
Yeah,
to
yes,
which houses got.
It's just petty. They just came in and lit a bunch of houses on fire and then left.
Narc, smart, distraction, run.
Pretty much.
Okay, and then he goes into the house, and then the mayor thinks he's dead because earlier he's seen the horse going through. He thought Rand and Tam were glad he finds out Rand is still
It's because
alive.
their horse.
Ah, boy, you're still alive, man. I know he's.
What fucking accent was that?
I like that.
They go to see the wisdom before that, and the wisdom like checks out Tam and is like, "Yeah, my medicine ain't gonna help this. Your dad's dead. I'm sorry." And he's like, "No, I gotta go talk to the mayor. He'll know what to do."
Yeah, and it's like, and that would suck too, because like, you know, that's the only thing he could think of doing. And
every time he gets hope, it just burns away.
Yeah, just like.
Well, for all he knows, isn't the rest of his village fucking dead?
Well, no, he sees people, so obviously he knows not everybody is dead, but he
just knows that there was some sort of attack, but his priority is to make sure his dad doesn't die.
Yeah, I think his priority is to see if the wisdom or the mayor still left.
The whole reason of going to town was because he always considered the town like a safe haven, so he thought bringing his dad there would be good, and then he got there and found out that it was attacked, and then he's like, alright, well, maybe the wisdom can help me, and then the wisdom couldn't help him. So he went to the mayor, and then the mayor couldn't help him.
Just
Wisdom's
imagine,
like, I got other shit to do.
Imagine you kind of feel like you're impregnable when you go to like the township that's bigger. Like back in the day, like imagine in like medieval times, as soon as you get to a city, it feels like that's the safe haven. That's where you're safe. Like that's where people would go when armies would invade. They'd all like run to the city and like hide behind the walls. So for Rand, the town was probably had the same level of safety for him. So to see it attacked, he's like, "Oh my god!"
You go to St. Albert.
Oh no! Why? Why did you do that? You just reminded me of like the last time I was at Stadium and I was fucking such creepers.
Shit. Yeah, but he goes and talks to the mayor. The mayor's like, "I got shit to do," and then he realizes that it's Rand, and he's just like, "Oh shit, me boy, we gotta save your pop." And then he gives him a room and tells him to get tells the fucking, I think it was the was it the Glee Maker to get the wisdom.
There's another point I want to make. It was a dragon thing on the door of the mayor's inn.
A curving line scratched with a charred stick, a charcoal teardrop balanced on its point. So much had happened that it hardly surprised him to find the dragon's fang marked on the door. So basically, it's like a imagine just like the shape of a teardrop, but it's like flipped upside down, so it's on its point, and it's black. So that's like. So when that appears on a door,
in that world, yeah,
it's like accusing the innkeeper or his family of evil or bad luck or whatever. So
like heresy.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know the lore behind like the Drake, like the hierarchy of like the what's that called? The history between the dragon lore and shit. And it's probably something to do with that, like destiny and ladder. I can't. What's the right word? The religion behind that.
It's kind of like a weird mix of both, because like, you know, whatever they can't, like, it's small folk are kind of the way that they're described is that whatever they can't understand, they just like pass it off as like bad luck or something, right? Or witchcraft, or, you know, it obviously can't be good because I don't understand it. So that's like sort of how
church.
Yeah, except this is much more small time. But this is kind of what that's kind of the, it seems to be the idea that these guys adopt, the small town, is that I don't understand it. All I know is somebody new came to the, like, all I know is that weird shit happened and it started here, so obviously you guys are bad luck or something.
Okay, there's that.
Yeah, I mean, he goes like the mayor, and the mayor goes and gets the wisdom again, and then the wisdom like flips out on whoever he sent.
No, I think he sent the.
Tom Maryland was sitting at the door and just like said, "I'll go get her," and then came back and he's like, "You didn't tell me she'd seen him already. She almost took my head off."
Yeah.
That dude.
He just showed in despair. He thought maybe like the mayor would change his view if the mayor sent it.
Yeah.
He's still in shock what's going on right now.
And then the mayor suggests the one lady.
No, I think that was Rand. He didn't want to suggest an Aes Sedai. He wanted, and he didn't make point because Aes Sedai like bad luck or something because they always want something.
Well, the mayor did suggest that if there was no other option, he might not like it, but that was an option, and he did say that that lady was an Aes Sedai.
He did cross his mind, but he's not the one who bring it out. I think that was Bran that said.
Yeah, he said that because like he had asked who scrawled the dragon's fang, and he said, well, someone seems to not like him, or maybe it's just his guests. And then they said it's probably work of the Conquerors, the Coplins. That fool Darl Coplin spent half the night demanding I put Mistress Moraine and Master Lan out of the inn, out of the village, as if there would be any village at all left without them. So, and then they basically said, yeah, she cast lightning and fucking killed a bunch of Trollocs.
Oh yeah. Oh, we're talking about that. Them drawing on the one power.
Yeah, and then Lan apparently is like
in 10 places at once.
Yeah, he's just literally. He's basically.
I don't know if that's like saying magically he's in 10 places at once, or he's going so fast he's a boy and he's like in 10 places at once.
Yeah.
He's probably just a monster on the battlefield.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's just he's so fast. It's like he's in 10 places. Going like Witcher speed, you know?
Yeah. And he's just, and they're just like, an Aes Sedai, like, she can't be. I talked to her, she isn't. It's like, what, you think she wore a sign? Like, just like...
Yeah, exactly. Like when he goes and talks to her too, and Lan the whole time's like, "This is a stupid idea. We shouldn't be helping these fucking people."
I think he's just like he just kind of is like, "Oh, this is just one town. Like there's so many bigger things that can happen," but he just sort of does what he's told.
Yeah.
This Out of the Woods is still 7, man.
What?
Jeez, man. There's a lot that goes on in this chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah, they pretty much. I think it ends with him.
Wait, don't know. We're not ending it because there's still lots. There's still more. Like Lan brings up about the kobolds coming together, and there's like 7 bands.
No. Cobalt is the name of a Trolloc band.
Oh yeah. So it was the name of the Trolloc I'm talking about, and they're all gathering after 7. They usually come up from like the Blight area or whatever, which is like the northern area of the map, where you expect to see a lot of Trollocs fighting or something like that.
You're saying like usually they don't band together like that, especially
They
not
haven't
going
seen
out
it
that
since the
far.
Great Trolloc War.
Yeah, well, he says that in the next chapter. Right now, Rand's just like kind of begging Moraine for help, and he's like, and the warder's just like, death comes sooner or later to everyone. It's like, dude.
People die, it happens.
It happens.
Yeah, pretty much.
It goes back to burning bodies. Yeah, I think she like convinces her to go back, and the whole time Lan's like, I don't care what if she says you're important. This is a fucking waste of time.
She's just like, can't you see she's tired? He's just being overprotective.
They're just like slowly sauntering back to the inn, and the whole time Rand's like running ahead and then stopping and then running back and then like walking with them and then running ahead. Like he's just so antsy.
Well, I mean, I feel like if anybody would be kind of antsy if somebody you love is like injured or hurt or something. Like nobody wants to.
Literally fucking dying.
Yeah, and like if he could have just instantly teleported him back to the room, I'm sure he would have. Like, yeah.
I think that's the chapter 7.
Yeah. Chapter 8, a place of safety. Is it though?
It's safer.
A place of safety.
This is the conversation. It's the conversation with Moraine and them.
Yeah, so like basically Moraine sends everyone away. Rand begs to stay, so he does, and then says, "You can stay and you can talk quietly, but just like be quiet."
I'm seeing Lan, not Ian. What?
He's talking to Lan mostly when Moraine, and then there's like this whole chapter, or well, not whole chapter, this whole paragraph for like kind of describing of like what Aes Sedai are.
He's coming to town, and this one guy wants to smoke. The Gleeman wants to smoke his pipe, but gets interrupted.
Yeah, so he's like, I'm out. Just dips.
Yeah. He's like, man, can't fucking smoke a pipe anywhere in this bitch, and he goes outside.
So fucking
Still the
rude.
best character so far. Gotta make sure they're not using my cloak to fucking save their cows.
The one power drawn from the true source that drove the wheel of time.
Yeah, I'm just briefly looking at it. I'm just skimming it right too.
Yeah. Oh, and then Lan
They
says...
talk about.
What?
They know that they talk about. Lan tells Rand more about like the Black Riders and that there's something called Murderals or something.
Yeah, well, the first thing he says, the first thing he does is he mentions the sword, and he's like, "Is there by chance a heron on it?"
Yeah, okay. Heron's like the symbol or whatever, your house symbol. So what the hell's that?
It was basically it was a symbol that showed that it was like something made by a master swordsmith. Like it was just exceptional quality.
Yeah,
It was like a stamp of approval.
yeah. And then he asked about. Then he
tells him he got it from like he said he got it from a farm or some shit, like a merchant or some shit.
And then he tells him that he
That's
says
weird.
if you guys had known about a man in the woods who made people afraid by looking at them, would you have helped? And then Moraine's like, not without at least a half dozen of my sisters, because Myrtles are fucked up.
Yeah, I was surprised that they were that OP.
They're like the brains of the Trolloc.
Yeah, like they
It's like a hive
Trolloc
mind.
there. Yeah.
Like a step up with it. It's like yeah, they're like the little captains or something of the
Otherwise, you get Gunnar and what he is.
Mm-hmm.
Because they mention later that there's like other things too, like dreadlords and some shit.
Mm-hmm.
But, like of the spawns from the Dark One.
Yeah, and they say its Trolloc weapons are made at the forges in the valley called Thakandar on the very slopes of Sheol Gul itself. And some of them take a taint from that place, and they cause wounds that won't heal, cause deadly fevers, strange sicknesses, and so on. So yeah. Yeah, and so and then she has to take like, she's telling him about it, and then she's telling Rand about it, and then she has to take like well, she calls it an angriel. And
Oh yeah, you talked about the Angro that comes from like a really mythical place and like the stories of legends or whatever.
Yeah, they no longer know how to make those.
So much time is lost.
Yeah, and then I guess it like channels it. I think it helps them channel more power than they can do by themselves safely, or something like that.
That plot device reminds me so much of Stormlight Archive from Brandon Sanderson. Like so much is lost over these thousands of years from the big tragedy, like the big event, the breaking of the world or whatever. What they call it?
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea. I haven't read it.
No, I'm talking about it in real time. It's like the big breaking event. But I mean, like in Stormlight Archive, there's a similar event like that happened.
Yeah.
Anyways.
And he said that rider you spoke of was surely a Myrtle. Myrtle, but their fades are 20 feet tall, and it's just like, oh, honey, baby, sweetie, calm down.
The goblins.
Then they have like a bunch of different names. So Halfman,
Yeah,
Lurk,
but
Fade,
it's all
Shadowman, it's all Myrtle. They're all the same.
Yeah, there's like plenty of different names of the same thing.
Mm-hmm. The look of the eyeless is fear. And a Trolloc said the Myrtle wanted to talk to me. I didn't notice. And Lan's like, you talked to a Trolloc? What?
Oh yeah. I think we
And
kind
you
of
killed it?
went a little bit in depth yesterday. I think we found that Chalk was special. He was just smarter than the word.
Nerd smart.
I feel like the rest of the Trollocs are as equally stupid as that one was. That's just a unique encounter he had with the one Trolloc.
Yeah. the fact that like one Trolloc actually stopped his own bloodlust in order to like pass on a message, I think kind of already lets you know exactly how this is supposed to go. Like this is an unusual encounter. And then of course, Moraine is like, okay, healed him, and then he says, you know, thank you, blah blah blah. Anything I can do for you, I will. And it's like, oh my god, never say anything. That's such a terrible idea, but okay.
Yeah, and then she's like, yeah, guess what?
She's
we
like,
need to leave.
he's like, what?
I think they bring up in this chapter, yeah, because you want to leave your mark. The Dark One seems to have an interest between boys around your age or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised how reluctant he was to leave, given that he said that he would do anything to save his dad.
Yeah, but I thought that, like, I feel like he thought that it would be something along the lines of, like, you know, I'd have to work and earn enough coin, or I'd have to, you know, he was thinking of it in terms of, like, in his own little sphere, in his own little world. Like, I don't actually think he thought that he would actually have to leave it.
He didn't think he'd owe 4 soul coins?
No one ever leaves the Wind Rivers.
Oh, I'm gonna have so much fun tomorrow. You don't even know.
Same.
Yeah.
Pav is still so choked. He's just like, no, fuck this. He's like, I'm never gonna have any fun again ever. I'm like, I could have let you die. He's like, no.
Consequences, man.
Consequences.
There are none, yes.
Okay, what else?
Not for Pav, apparently.
Seriously, though.
I think that was like probably the funnest idea that I've ever had. Is like, okay, you know what? Let's just transfer this debt, because this motherfucker. I'm pretty sure we could find better use for 4 soul coins than saving that idiot from a fucking dumbass demon.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they continue their little conversation, and they're like, yeah, we gotta go. And then he's just like,
what? And he starts babbling.
Like, you and everybody else around your age, like, we're Matt and Perrin, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matt and Perrin within 3 weeks of him or something, and then there's all those other farm boys that were within a year 2 age gap, but they weren't really interested in their towns weren't intact. They found out. Oh yeah, they find out those 3. Only 3 places were injured. They mentioned this too.
Well, there was only 3 places that were specifically targeted, and that was his farm, Perrin's farm, and then the blacksmith house, because that's where Perrin works, obviously, and then Matt's house. So
we know Trollocs like to murder for fun for the previous chapter, but they got really lucky due to the fair, the festivals, or whatever. I mention on here.
Yeah, because everybody wasn't where they were supposed to be.
Yeah, but like if it hadn't been the fact that it was a holiday, the Trollocs would have gotten exactly what they wanted.
Yeah. Yeah. So
she like finishes healing him and then like fucks off, and then Tam's like, I need to sleep with my father, and then he like curls up in a ball by the fire, and then has like the dream of a lifetime.
Oh, he falls asleep. In next chapter they mentioned, and then they mentioned like some white tower, and I think that's like a title of one of the books. I'm pretty sure some shit like that. So we'll see that tower eventually. I don't know what the hell.
Him just getting chased by the Dark One to some crazy white city and trapping him there, and I'm pretty sure that white city is where they're probably going.
Oh yeah, they says like join
Shining Gates.
Well, she tells him that because he's like, "Where are we gonna go?" And she tells him that the safest place for you to go is why the hell can't I remember the name? I'm thinking of right before the name.
Dies like city.
Yeah, Tarvalon. Tarvalon, there it is.
Like this, yeah. So it was White Tower, or whatever, and then at the end, the tower, you see the Virgil hiss. Yeah, I've been waiting for you. Dun dun dun.
Dun 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 dun.
I don't really know this dream sequence. I don't really have much to comment on this. It was a little bit like what? It seems like there's world building there, right? it's supposed to like foreshadow what to come. But to me, since I don't know what's going on right now, I'd have to reread it. I only read it once, so I was like, "What the hell is going on?"
Well, it's kind of like, it's weird. It's a dream, and it's sort of, I think, well, if I recall correctly, it sort of is like, I can't tell if it's prophetic or if it's like talking about the past. Like, I can't tell if it's like reliving a memory, that sort of thing, or if it's like prophetic and if it's talking about the future, you know. So
there's like a part where in here too, it's like the Dark One's like, serve me.
And he's like, shakes his fist at the mountain.
Yeah.
Why I oughta.
Yeah. That's that dream sequence. I don't see you guys have anything more common in the dream sequence.
The dream sequence is very interesting.
Yeah, it's got a lot of. Yeah, I feel like it has a bunch of Easter eggs in it, but I don't remember what they all are.
Okay, well, I guess we can wake up over the
and then he
wakes up next to Tam, and
in
then
a cold sweat.
Yeah, and then he basically tells him everything, and then Tam's like, "Yeah, you should probably just go."
He's like, wait.
He's like, "What?"
Well,
what do you mean I should go? He's like, "Yeah, you gotta go."
Well, I think
I'll have a bunch
Better
of
there
shit
than here.
to get back.
Like, wait, what?
Yeah.
He's
How
like, I
long do I
thought-
have to stay in this bed? She said weeks. Weeks?
that's bullshit.
Yeah.
And he said,
days.
I should be going with you. And then he's like, I thought you tried to talk me out of it.
we talking about the convo with Rand.
Yeah. But to be fair...
Rand and Tam, sorry.
Yeah. But the thing is that Tam has already been outside of the Two Rivers, so obviously he knows something about life. Yeah, so obviously he knows something about life beyond the Two Rivers, and he probably knows a bit more about Aes Sedai and Warders and how much attention to pay to them. So I feel as though he understands the ramifications of Rand needing to leave.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and then he wanted Tam to give him a reason to not go.
Yeah. But Tam didn't give him one.
Yeah, like he was kind of hoping that would happen, but it didn't really happen. So he was just like, "Oh, I guess I'm actually leaving."
I didn't know how to ask whether or not he was my dad.
I mean, that's a rough thing to just sort of bring up. Hey, by the way, you talked in your sleep, and you said some shit.
Well, I mean, before I leave,
there's
and
a lot of
die,
stuff. He didn't want to ask too much about the thief, like stuff in the TV dream yet, because he's still shocked of waking up and finding out what the aftermath of those. He's trying to minimize his talk at the moment, like his questions.
Yeah.
They're still in there.
And then he's leaving, and Lan's like, so we gotta go? And he goes outside, and there's a fucking mob outside the inn door. Like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah, they're all like, "Fuck you, Aes Sedai.
You brought those monsters here." Oh really? Then what the fuck did I kill them all for?
I really like that. I really like that setting, like how the mob gets. It feels like brings more life to the world. The mob thinking they brought on the big tragedy, but it was out of their control.
Yeah. All they knew is like it just shows you that once again small town ignorance is all they knew was that these weirdos showed up at their town, and then all of a sudden everything burned down. So it's got to be their fault.
And then Moraine starts talking about like the history of Two Rivers.
Which that I forgot about that. So when I read that again, I was like, oh yeah, this part was kind of cool. But it did drag on a little bit.
Well, yeah, like it wasn't even like a "you should all be ashamed of yourselves." It was like, "All right, story time."
Anytime you like these little history nugget pieces, I really like that stuff when I read fantasy stuff. So it's interesting because when they bring it up later, it's like, oh yes, I remember you telling me that way back then.
I really liked it. I just kind of forgot about it. I remember thinking that it was long-winded when I first read it, like the first time I read it.
Something in like
now-
a book series like this will get re-brought up like over and over.
Yeah, and now I'm just like, that's actually pretty dope. And then like talking just about how like we fought until we couldn't actually fight anymore.
Oh yeah, this is where the Dreadlords are
It
bringing.
was like the unbreakable spear or something was shattered, and then it was like it all died.
Yeah.
The Trollocs, and then the Trollocs ran away.
Yeah.
I don't too much out of this, but yeah, like it's cool to have that because I don't understand what's going on with some of this history stuff with the Dark One.
It's like how she basically called them all stupid. She's like, "You guys call it White River. Everybody else in the world calls it." It's like 30 letters long.
Mantherindril.
Yeah.
Manatherindril. But I love how like she started and she didn't even like say it. She's like, "Is this what Aemon's blood has come to?" It's like you guys
so
don't
much
even
is
remember
lost.
who you were, and they're just like, "What? We're always we're just
We're
two rivers, fuck. We're farmers."
Okie dokie.
And then she tells him, about like their history, and they're just like, "Okay, that's kind of cool."
Yeah, and then they're all like, "Man, we're so sorry," and then they just all leave.
They're just like, "Yeah, okay, I guess we fucked up." And like talking about how like, you know, how they in order to defend their home, like the men went, the shepherds went, the farmers went, and women went, and like
Oh, they're on
Just
the brink of
everybody that
death.
could carry a weapon.
if you could carry a weapon, you went.
That's how desperate they were. Yeah. Oh yeah, they talk about the war in the 10 days, and they thought they were getting reinforcements. Reinforcements didn't come.
Yeah,
Yeah, they were supposed to get reinforcements on the 3rd day, and it was like 9 days later.
and then
Yeah, that was an epic like lore moment. I was like, Jesus.
and then the Eldrine or whatever her name was drew so much of the one power that literally she killed everything, but it consumed the city, and like there was nothing left, but there were people left, and that was all.
The stuff you can do with the one power, it just seems nuts. Make mountains and shit.
Yeah.
Straight.
So, and then after she finished, the one farmer's like, "All right, my bad, I'm out," and just goes home.
Saved my boy. I'm sorry.
He saved my boy. He got better.
My apologies.
Yeah, I don't know if you have any more comments left at 9.
No. It was basically a dream, and then story time.
Yeah,
pretty
story
much.
time.
It was a dream into story time, and then
And
and then they're like, "Hey, we gotta piece the fuck out of here."
Okay.
yeah,
We got
story
to go.
time.
Get
got-
the horses.
Well, yeah.
That's more of the next chapter. They state that they'll come back to Evansville. Shit.
Leave
You know-
taking.
The next chapter made me laugh. Line was just like, "Did you check the way I told you to?" "Oh yeah, boss man, I checked everything." Everybody literally from every place that they could have been hiding shows up.
Yep.
Oh, I definitely didn't check their shit, my bad.
I know. It's just like I didn't think about that.
Dude, I'm so happy the Glee Man's coming. That's the best.
I guess chapter 10 is pretty much you get the title, like the cover, the picture of the cover kind of drop. You kind of get to see what the party members are.
Yeah.
I know it's Moraine, and there's like the 3 horses.
And she's
Then you
and
see, I think
Moraine is so
Matt
tiny.
Matt's just joking about the fact that they have to leave and use weapons, and Perrin's like, "I know how to use my axe." He's got a sword. He's just like, "Fucking merchant guards." Oh, lol. They're just like, "Dude, this ain't funny, man. People died."
And then I like how Lan said that bow was a real weapon. So are the slings I've seen you village boys use. Just because you've never used them for anything but hunting rabbits doesn't make any difference.
Yeah, a weapon's a weapon.
If you can kill something with it, it's a weapon.
I just like Moraine's reaction to every extra person that shows up, and she's like, "Oh, it's just the wheel of time, boys. Let's go."
This is also part of the pattern.
Yeah, the Glee Maker shows up. I'm fucking going over there anyways. I might as well tag along. It's part of the pattern. Devina shows up and she's like, "I got my own food. I'm coming with you." And everybody's like, "You can't come with us. We're not coming back." And she's like, "Fuck that. You guys are making excuses. I want to see the world." Oh, the pattern.
Oh, is this part of the pattern too? Yes.
Yeah. I guess so. Who knows? I'm making this shit up as we go.
Pretty much, yeah. That's what it feels like.
I was gonna say, another character that gets more characterization as part is, I guess, is Egwene. She talks about, she wants to become like a wit for another town or something.
Mm-hmm.
So she wants to follow them and leave, but she's naive of the Trollocs. She's like, that never happened. These guys are crazy.
I think she just doesn't. She's like, I'm not like, this is the only opportunity I have to ever like leave, and I'm taking it. Sure. And it's like, if you don't let me come, I will follow you. She can ride the Gleeman's horse. I'll leave him enough to buy another. That won't be possible. And he jumps down from the hayloft.
Yeah, he's like, I'm fucking taking my horse.
Man got the crazy horse. He paid crazy price for his horse.
I fucking love the Gleeman. Gleeman's best character. So
I know.
And then I think this we finished chapter 10. It's like the journey began. The real journey begins. Like the prologue's over.
They're like. Town. And they're like,
it's like
they're
the
not
tutorial
going...
that lasts like halfway through a video game. You're like, I'm still getting tutorials. What the hell's going on here? I'm like halfway through the fucking story.
No,
the prologue just never ends.
And then, like, right before they're leaving, he sees, like, this weird black shape flying above them. And he's like, what the fuck is that? And he's staring at him, and then Lan's like, dude, what are you doing? And so he tells him, he's like, ugh, drag hard. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, what?
So now it's like, it's a race to get to Terran Ferry before those, the merge will start chasing him.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's, like these first 10 chapters remind me a lot of, like, the opening chapters of, like, of Fellowship. This really feels like a little bit like a retelling of Lord of the Rings a little bit. The Wheel of Time, it'll branch off away like the same story later, but the beginning portion feels really similar to Lord of the Rings in a way.
I feel like most fantasies, like fantasy novels that have to introduce some sort of world building and stuff, I feel like they have to sort of almost follow that like hero's journey type thing. I don't know how you get away from it.
No, well, not that generic. I'm talking about like there's more to it here. Like I'm not going that generic. I'm going like they follow. They have the dark ones ruling over all the world, and they all start on like this farm area, a little small. And he has like 3 best friends, and like in those things they have like Pippin and Sam and all that.
Mm-hmm.
He's like 3, and then a magical guy comes to town and saves them. Tells them that they can't stay in town anymore. Like we have to get like darkness is approaching or some shit, and then they leave town for the first time. Very very generic glimpses.
Yeah, it's just I don't know how to describe it. It's not exactly like the hero's journey, but it does remind, like that whole part of it does remind me. Just the beginning part of it reminds me. The pattern is always there.
You'll get the hero's journey in every fantasy tale, though, because that's literally like the skeleton structure.
Yeah, that's like how you write the book. Yeah, and so every time it always seems to follow that pattern in like every fantasy book, and I think it's because it has to, because it's really hard to world build. Like you have to sort of have like a beginning, and the beginning is always very descriptory.
I'm more talking like the settings really similar at the beginning. Template.
Yeah.
But I feel like Robert Jordan's doing this purposely though. Like, because this is a popular trope around this time, I imagine, when he wrote the first book. Like a lot of fantasy books are doing it. But
when did he write the first book?
Everybody's doing it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like his form of writing doesn't come like in form until you probably see until later. So right now you're reading this and you're thinking, it's like Lord of the Rings. I like Lord of the Rings. I'll probably like this.
It was published in 1990.
So I don't know if
This book is older than all of us, I think.
Oh no, for sure.
Is that what you think? Is that what you fucking think?
Not as old as Lord of the Rings, though, man.
I'm older than those books. By a little bit.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, is there a prologue and like we'll start when the future chapters will start seeing the stories get forming. You can really tell by that. It's meant to be a really slow start though, because they want to feel like really realistic. They're telling like they're shining a lot of character dialogue on some of the side characters and stuff, and making you feel weird. I don't know if I ever want to comment on this chapters.
I can't quite. I do believe that everything sort of picks up after this. But I don't. Again, I don't remember. But I think the plot gets nice and thick.
It's a thick ass plot.
I think it gets to be a thick ass plot.
Yeah, boy.
Oh boy.
That's a thick ass plot. Yeah, exactly.
Is there any more thoughts on what you read, the first 10 chapters?
Looking thin, but it's getting thick.
Yeah, on that one.
That's my thoughts on the first 10 chapters.
Your thoughts are what?
It started thin, but it looks like it's getting thick.
Closing thoughts, started thin, getting thick. Oh yeah.
Well, I guess we still haven't gotten the title drop yet. The World. I guess we'll figure what that means later. But we got the cover picture drop though, so that's kind of cool.
I hope we don't get it soon, because we literally just left we left like Tutorial Island. If we get like the name drop, like
boom, title drop.
Yeah. What?
I think Jade just muted himself.
Did he?
He's running this show.
Is
He just like sounded like he was talking to himself from a distance.
Hello? Yeah. What was I saying? There's the 5 chapters, and there's 700 pages, and we're like 1/5 through the book right now. But this book is starting to get
thick.
What the devil see?
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's a glossary at the back. I didn't even notice that.
Oh my god, I told you that last time.
But yeah, I guess that's it. I don't know if you guys got any predictions of what's coming.
Well, Papa Trolloc was a bust, so I'm pretty much at a loss. I don't know what to expect.
I was giggling a lot when you did that.
Book. We'll get one for each book. We had Mikey's, his dad turns into a Trolloc theory, and we had Jade's, he's a mind flayer underneath theory last book, so there'll be one every.
Yeah, you never know. There might be like a crazy twist where like he gets in trouble and then his dad actually does manage to catch up with him at some point, and then he gets like zapped, and then it's like boom, Papa Trolloc coming at you.
Didn't he say he was gonna follow them?
He was just. But then he was like, maybe you go, and when you come back, I have more chickens that you can.
No, actually, now you bring it up. They state later that he wants to come back to the Two Rivers at some point. Probably way down the line, like after this.
He's gonna come back to the farm. It's gonna be a nice sunny day. Dad? And it's just gonna be like Papa Trolloc.
Imagine
living as a hermit on the farm, like an hour away from town, so nobody ever knew.
You're gonna come back to the farm like during like book 5 or something like this. After Aftermath, that's some serious shit went down. I feel like it's gonna be like a turning point story. Comes back.
Gonna be the name drop of the 5th book, book 5, Wheel of Time, Papa Trolloc.
God.
Terrible name for a book.
Look,
We've come full circle.
I can categorically say that there is no book called Papa Trolloc.
Shit!
Spoilers.
Yeah, look up.
You looking ahead?
No, I
You're reading the book titles.
Yes.
Yes.
The only way you
Yes,
know is
I
if you read
am.
the book titles ahead of everyone else.
My theory just crumbled.
I have to look to the left and up, and I can see all of the book titles right there. And I didn't even have to look to know that there isn't a title called Papa Trolloc, you fucking knob. It's a theory. A book theory. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
It hurts.
What?
It hurts so good.
You
I
can
had
end the
a-
podcast on that note.
I had a friend who was watching this podcast. He's like, it was good. There's a lot of yelling. I'm just like, yeah.
It was just most of them.
That's the name of the game.
we tend to yell a lot. Although this one wasn't quite as yelly. But no, there
We're
was
missing a person.
No, this one also has a more serious tone to the part of the story.
It has nothing to do with the fact we're missing one person. Junior Jeff didn't say anything the whole time.
I
Read
was
a damn
gonna
book.
say, yeah. He's just like, I'll make a prediction, and we're just like, shut up.
God damn it.
So, Jade,
I wonder
what's
if
your
he- how
prediction?
far he even got before he was like, fuck this.
I don't know. Jade, what's your prediction?
Synopsis in the back.
Oh, it's the prologue. There we got the race to Edmund Seals, kind of just like in the Fellowship of the Ring. They're racing against the Revenants to get to the first town area. So there's gonna be a freaking like a chase. There's gonna be a chase sequence in the forest. The Trollocs they're gonna come chasing them with the rider in black. The Mauritius can chase them.
Who do you think's the first person out of this little party group that's going to die?
The very last person to join. I'm not kidding. I'm getting death flags from him when he joined.
Dude, if the Queen Man dies, I'm gonna be so pissed because even they're like, man, you really want to come? He's like, dude, if this little girl is safe to go, I can fucking go.
I just feel like because they did the oh my god, another person's joining us thing twice, I was like, you're getting death flags right now.
You know what?
totally agree with you.
I agree with you on that, but I don't feel like it's gonna be a Glee Man. I feel like his fucking whatever that chick's name is gonna die.
Which
Got
one?
a feeling. I don't know, night,
Egwene?
or whatever. I don't know. The fucker.
No, Egwene, no, is Rand's love interest. So they're gonna keep. Egwene's gonna be very plot important, like probably down the line, like book 4 or 5. It's gonna like.
Yeah, she's off the armor.
She can die in like book 5 or whatever, and then be like a big character changing mode. But right now,
no
like.
problem. I'm thinking she's gonna be the first to die, which means the Glee Man's at least gonna make it to book
Fuck off.
6.
Glee Man's gonna die just for saying, just for you saying that.
Dude, the Glee Man's the best character in the entire book so far. Okay, so
That's why that makes the death flags even worse.
Alexis, you
No.
can't say anything.
Oh, buddy, you have no idea.
Alexis, we all know you read the book titles.
yeah, Papa Trolloc. Oh my
Look,
God.
I'm sorry, Mikey. I had to disabuse you of that one fucking theory. Because you're wrong and you're bad and you should feel bad.
It was the strongest theory we had today.
I mean, other than the death flags theory.
No, it's the strongest. Papa Trolloc was the strongest theory, like hands down.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, if you guys know anyone else to join, they can join if they want. Or if, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
What? Okay, sign off.
Oh wait, did we do that already? That's
No.
a book theory!
Oh my god.
Book theory! God damn it, you botched it, Jade.
That's a book theory.
And that's
That's
just a theory. A book theory. Thanks for listening.
Oh, I'm over it.
Mike got to say it though, he has a cigarette voice.
The rasp.
Gross.
Dude, that's so hard on the throat, you have no idea.
Got to hear it.
But that's just a theory. A book theory. Thanks for listening.
God, I couldn't turn my sound down. I knew it was coming.
I'm sorry.
Okay, you were provoked.
Go take a lozenge.
Yeah, seriously.
Drink some tea.
Drink some tea and suck on a lozenge.
How do you guys feeling on this book? I'm feeling like it's fucking gold.
No, I love this book.
Good. It's started off weak and it's getting thick.
Getting thick.
It's so
I'm waiting for it to get good.
You're waiting for the thickness to reach.
I don't care. I need like a character that I could latch onto, and I don't have that right now.
we should opening prologue. I'll tell you what though, I'm more hooked on this series than I was when I was first reading Driz.
I think
Driz
that
was easier to get into just because we all played D&D, so it's something very
Yeah.
easy to relate to.
Yeah.
Whereas this is
That's
like
easier to latch
completely,
onto, yeah.
it's completely different, right? So we have to actually know and understand stuff. Whereas in the Driz books, we kind of understood how things worked. We just got more context.
I think that now that like everyone's kind of on the road, I think like we'll actually get to know the other characters personally now, instead of just hearing everything from like, just
the only
like
guy we kind of a little bit know is Random. We got an introduction, like all the characters briefly. We don't really have like deep story lore with them.
Yeah, but now we'll like actually get an insight into like their personality and like their little quirks and their humor and all that stuff. So hopefully that'll make things more interesting. So yeah, I have a friend. His favorite character was Matt. So
nice. Yeah, that chapter where they were doing like the story part and she was talking to all like the villagers and stuff, I was so fucking bored.
I'll be honest, I
these
skimmed
names
through
that
that
I
very
don't actually
easily. I
care
skimmed
about?
through that. I was just like, oh yeah, they were fighting and then they were losing and then they like burned the bridge and then they just swam across because it's a river and then she was like all the magic and then everybody died.
Yeah, I was like, man, I don't care.
I was like, I understand what happened.
the first time I read it, yeah, I was bored. I was bored with it too.
Like, I think if I get into the book, I'll have to go back and read those parts with context, and I'll be like, oh, okay, this part was actually kind of cool. But right now, it's like, here's the names of things that I don't care about, and these guys did stuff that I don't care about.
I say, wait, we'll just give it time to like invest in shit. Like, for these long series, you gotta like get these characters to grow on you when they start doing crazy shit and stuff. They'll grow on you.
Yeah. But no,
so
I think
far I really like the wizard character and like
because I've read
traveling with her.
I've read these long books and you actually really when they get to those when stuff hits the fan, it really hits you like emotionally shit. It's like if you've been reading for a while, you're like, what the fuck.
Yeah, it gets pretty. You get thicker plot lines going on, and then you get to kind of meet everyone, and I feel like that'll help everyone.
When I'm listening to it, I'm reading it and I'm also doing the audio at the same time, so I'm getting both mediums.
Nice.
So it's pretty immersive what I'm reading.
We should do the Silmarillion one day and then get Travis in on that, so that he can lose his shit at like how much smack we talk about it because he knows so much about the Silmarillion. He says because I'm horrible. Oh, make him.
Travis still awake? Don't let him hear that.
We should read.
He is still awake, and he did just hear that. He's listening. He's sitting right there.
We should bring Travis in so we can make fun of all the stuff he likes.
We should read Peter Jackson's The Hobbit script. We should read that.
No,
The Hobbit script. Why?
I'm gonna pull a Jeff and sit out on that one.
Why wouldn't we just read The Hobbit?
Yeah, why the
script?
script?
The Hobbit script of Peter Jackson because it's great.
You just gotta read the script, but everybody gets their own character.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
That's kind of fun, but
So
whatever.
So each of us would have to play like at least 3 of those fucking dwarves.
Good time to work on the dwarven accent.
I don't mind.
Hey, it's me, Hagrid. I am a mighty dwarf.
You're stupid.
She said it, don't be.
It's so blunt. It was the best. You're stupid.
My name Hagrid. I big dwarf.
Good one, Jade.
Oh my god.
And with
Like some-
that, I suppose I'll stop recording now.
Oh,
Well, I thought you
God.
did.
What?
Alexis,
I'm
please no.
More content.
exactly.
Oh,
But I-
damn.
Nice.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, good. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Closing
Dave?
thoughts.
Oh my
Jake, do me a
god.
favor and just unplug your microphone and go to bed.
Holy shit. Closing thoughts.
So closing thoughts?
Yeah, okay, I'm out. Bye.
Okay,
Oh.
see ya.